Why you have 5 different personalities? Let's play a game. I'm going to describe a scenario, and you tell me if it sounds familiar. You're at a party with your college friends, and you're the loud, chaotic, let's do shots energy. Then your phone rings. It's your mother. In 0.5 seconds, your voice drops an octave, your vocabulary changes, and you suddenly become a polite, Victorian-era child. Yes, mother. No, mother. I am eating my vegetables. You hang up, and then you run into your boss. Instantly, you shift again. Now you're corporate you. You're using words like synergy and deliverables and laughing at jokes that aren't even funny. And then, later that night, you're alone in your room, staring at the ceiling, and a terrifying thought hits you. Who the hell am I actually? Do I even have a personality? Or am I just a collection of mirrors reflecting everyone else? Am I a fraud? Am I a sociopath? Relax. You aren't crazy, and you aren't fake. You are experiencing a very specific psychological phenomenon known as the Chameleon Effect. And believe it or not, it's actually a superpower if you know how to turn it off. Let's decode the science of the social shapeshifter. 1. The science of self-monitoring. In the 1970s, psychologist Snyder developed a scale called self-monitoring. He divided the human population into 2 distinct species. First, you have the low self-monitors. These are the thermostats. They set the temperature. If they are in a bad mood, everyone knows it. They act exactly the same at a funeral as they do at a birthday party. They value consistency. Think of your unfiltered uncle who argues politics at Thanksgiving. Then there is you, the high self-monitor. You are a thermometer. When you walk into a room, your brain runs a high-speed diagnostic scan. What is the vibe here? Who holds the power? What is socially acceptable? You take that data and you subconsciously edit your personality file to fit the room. You are a DJ, and you are remixing your personality to match the crowd. This isn't manipulation. It's a survival mechanism. High self-monitors are statistically more successful in their careers, better at negotiation, and have wider social circles. Why? Because you make people feel safe. 2. The mirror neuron hijack. But why does your brain do this? Why can't you just be yourself? Because you are addicted to empathy? Research by Chartrand and Bargh in 1999 confirmed something called the Chameleon Effect. They found that people who subtly mimic the body language, tone, and energy of the person they are talking to are rated as significantly more likable and intelligent. You probably have an overactive mirror neuron system. Have you ever hung out with a British person for 20 minutes and suddenly started saying rubbish and cheers? Have you ever watched a sad movie and felt physically ill? That's your brain literally simulating the other person's reality inside your own head. You aren't fake. You are permeable. You absorb the room. The problem is, when you absorb too much, you start to leak. 3. The dark side, the Fawn Response. Now, let's get a little dark for a second. For many of you, being a chameleon isn't just a social skill. It's a trauma response. We all know fight, flight, and freeze. But the 4th stress response is fawn. Fawning is the act of merging with a threat to avoid conflict. If you grew up in a chaotic household, maybe your parents were emotionally volatile or strict, you learned that having your own personality was dangerous. Having an opinion got you yelled at. So, you learned to be a shapeshifter, you learned to read your parents' footsteps to know what mood they were in, you learned to be whatever they needed you to be to stay safe. You became a human golden retriever. Lovable, agreeable, and completely obedient. The problem is, you're an adult now. You're safe. But your brain is still acting like every social interaction is a life or death negotiation. 4. The cost ego depletion. Here is the receipt for all this acting. Psychologists call it ego depletion. Changing your personality costs glucose. It burns cognitive fuel. If you spend 8 hours at work pretending to be an extrovert and then 3 hours with friends pretending to be the funny one, you are going to hit a wall. This is why you come home and sit in your car for 20 minutes staring at nothing. This is why you ghost people for days at a time. You aren't antisocial. You are just out of RAM. You have closed the personality.exe program because the system has crashed. The solution, the unmasking protocol. So, how do we fix this? How do you stop feeling like a fraud without becoming a jerk? We need to move you from compulsive chameleoning, doing it out of fear, to strategic chameleoning, doing it by choice. Here is the 3-step protocol. Step 1, the friction test, the 10% rule. You feel fake because you agree with everything. Do you like this movie? Yeah. Do you want pizza? Sure. Is the sky green? If you want it to be, stop it. I want you to introduce 10% friction into your conversations. This week, disagree with one small thing. If someone suggests a restaurant you hate, say, "Actually, I'm not feeling tacos. Let's do Thai." Watch what happens. The world won't end. They won't hate you. You need to teach your brain that disagreement is not equal to danger. Step 2. Find your solo baseline. You don't know who you are because you're never alone with yourself. When you are by yourself, who are you? What music do you listen to when no one can hear it? Yes, even the embarrassing stuff. What are your actual political beliefs? What do you actually find funny? Write these down. This is your baseline personality. This is the anchor. You can drift away from it to be polite, but you must always return to it. Step 3. Audit your circle. There are people in your life who love the chameleon version of you because it's convenient for them. They love that you never fight back. When you start showing your real personality, some people will leave. Let them. If you have to suppress 90% of who you are to be friends with someone, you aren't friends. You are an employee. Quit the job. Listen to me. Being adaptable is a gift. It means you have empathy. It means you can connect with anyone, anywhere. But a mirror is useless if there's nothing standing in front of it. Stop reflecting everyone else for a second and let the world see you. You might be surprised to find out that the real you is actually way more interesting than the character you've been playing. If you want to stop performing and start living, hit that subscribe button. Because on this channel, we don't just read the room, we read the mind.